We came here to live life. We didn't come here to escape life. Hello, beautiful, benevolent beings. It is your girl, Danajhadavis. Happy New Year to all of you who are tuning in. Yes, we are officially in a new calendar year, 2022. Just to let you guys know, in case you are unaware, we still energetically are in the 5-year, aka 2021. We will officially be stepping in as a collective and embracing the lessons, the blessings, and all that comes with the 6th year known as 2022. That will be unfolding in March on the spring equinox. So make sure to check back in, because I will be putting out content about what the energetic year means for us and what we have in store. So today I actually will be speaking about our favorite word, discipline. I bet you guys had something different in mind, like, what is she about to say? What is she about to say? But no, it actually is one of my favorite words as of late, simply because I am really trying to be a more well-rounded, disciplined being. Like, I kid you not. And the reason why I am trying my best, not even trying, okay, doing, okay. The reason why I am a more disciplined being is because I feel like the older you get, the more you realize that, like, it is okay to at times go against the grain. It is actually always okay to go against the grain, okay? Like, you heard it first here. What I mean is that it is okay from time to time to go against your routine. It is okay from time to time to completely do something spontaneous or different. But discipline, structure, routine, those are the things that will elevate you. Those are the things that will help you to ascend. Those are the things that will get you to those dreams that you have, my friend. And so what I really want to speak about today is how ignoring discipline causes poverty. They aren't my words, okay? They are Miss Danny Johnson's words. I will insert a picture of her book that has an amazing amount of resources about building your wealth, achieving financial freedom, building the business of your dream, and really understanding the energy of money. And so for me personally, one way that I decided to throw away my bad habits, to embrace a life of discipline, to embrace a life of walking firmly in my passion and in my purpose, is saying no to substances. And what I mean by that is drugs and alcohol. Now, you guys, if you don't know, I'm 24 years old. And most 24-year-olds, or I should say most 20-year-olds, most young people, okay, be out here in these streets. Be out here in these streets doing whatever they feel like it, partying and drinking and drugging and Not trying to say the other word because we ain't trying to be demonetized over here, okay? But yeah, and obviously no judgment to that, because I did spend a good amount of my adolescence into young 20s doing all of those things, okay? So obviously no judgment here wherever you may be on your journey. But I say that to say that now that I am more so a young woman and just a few months away from my 25th solar return, I was feeling a nudge to go deeper. I was feeling a nudge to transform my life. I was feeling a nudge to do something that I've never done before. And when I sat back and I realized that this is what Spirit was asking of me, when I sat back and I realized that this was already in the plan long before I got here, long before my mom even met my father, I realized that this is what I needed to do, that this was in alignment with me achieving my own version of peace, my own version of prosperity. And so just a little bit of a history on my relationship to substances. So I actually had my very first interaction with marijuana, MJ, when I was 16 years old, so about 8 years ago. I'm not gonna lie, I really was peer pressured into it, and I know like peer pressure can seem like, oh, is it real? Is it not real? Like, yeah, I could have smacked the joint out of my friend's hand. I could have smacked him and walked away and said, I'm never speaking to you again, but I didn't. But I was peer pressured, like I will tell you that. And it was like, honestly, the best experience I had. One of the best experiences, I should say, I've had with marijuana, but also like kind of crazy because it wasn't something where like I was able to prepare and like I knew, but it was good. And so anyways, I tried it and it was more than enough for my little spirit at the time that I didn't try it again until like literally the next summer. And when I tried it again that following summer, it became a bit of a habit simply because I had friends around that time that were doing it. And I started hanging out with them more, and then that's where the habit kicked in. And so I spent from 17 years old all the way up until 24 with that habit. There were times where it was completely out of control, and I will, honest to God, looking directly into the camera's lens right now, say that I was addicted, okay? Don't argue with me in the comments and be like, you can't be addicted to weed, aight? Because you can. Anyways, back to our programming. There were definitely moments where I was full out, unapologetically and selfishly, yes, there we go, selfishly addicted. And the reason why I use selfishly is because my addiction and my battle affected the people around me. It really did. I will never, ever, ever forget. I'm like kind of smiling now because at the time it was completely embarrassing and disgusting and a disgrace on part of my spirit and my family. But now that I am ascended, I can talk about it. I will never forget the time I was on a family vacation for my brother's birthday, and it was me, a bunch of my family, cousins, aunts, mom, obviously, and a bunch of kids. Like all of my cousins are younger than me. I decided, since we were driving up to Six Flags and staying in one of their like hotel suites, that I would bring weed. I was like, okay, yeah, we're not getting on a plane, so I can bring weed. During that time, I was so attached to the hip with the activity of smoking and getting high that I brought it with me into the park. Now on the first day, because we were there for like a few days, on the first day, it was fine. They like barely looked through my bag. The second day, they looked through my bag and they found it. And it was one of the most traumatic and horrifying experiences that I have like put myself and my family and my reputation through. Now, no one on the line besides my family knew me, and no one was recording, thank God. But I got banned from Six Flags. I pissed my mother off. Like, I legit pissed her off. I mean, any mother, any parent, authority figure at that time would have been pissed off. And I had to spend the entire rest of the vacation like inside. Like there were like one or two things I could do, but I couldn't step foot into the Six Flags park, and I got banned for a year. So like, y'all are seeing how deep it went, the addiction. So please do not argue with me one more time when I say, okay? I also just want to acknowledge, just because my relationship with weed and substances have evolved and changed over time to the point where I don't need them, to the point where it feels like it is more so suppressing my throat chakra, suppressing my spirit, suppressing my purpose. It does not give away from the power of healing plant medicine. Okay, I am very well aware that weed is, at the end of the day, a sacred plant medicine. My introduction to it, being so young and being unaware of the potency of that magic, and it more so turning into an abusive and toxic relationship, does not mean that you cannot use marijuana in a way that is very healing for you and your system. This is just my story and my relationship to the plant itself. And so, yeah, it was really moments throughout my journey where it was extremely rough. I mean, I'm talking also can't get through meals, like have to smoke before like every meal, etc., etc., like having to go out with friends and family and having to excuse myself to go make a phone call, to go take 2 pulls of weed just to get through food, just to get through the setting, just to relieve my anxiety of being sober. That's what I think it was. I don't think I had the words to say it, but looking back, I think it was an anxiety of like dealing with myself, you know? And like, of course, there were moments throughout my day where I was sober. I wasn't the type of person where it was like L after L after L or blunt after blunt after blunt per se, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a problem. And I think that even that aspect had me hooked for so long, because I would speak to friends who were really, really about that stoner life. Like I'm saying blunt after blunt after blunt. And they'd always look at me and be like, you don't smoke that much though. Like you don't have a problem. In the back of my mind, I'm like, no, I think I do, because I've been kind of feeling like I do for a while. And like, I think just because in my head, I had it down to this mathematical equation where it was like I would go to work, I would go to several of my jobs, because I always had so many jobs throughout college and throughout high school and throughout my life. Check out my Why I Quit Jobs to Make Ends Meet video and you'll see. So I think because I always had it down to this mathematical equation where it was like I would go to school, I would go to various jobs, I would like fill my schedule up with all these extracurricular activities and blah, blah, blah. And then I'd come home, I'd do my homework, I get all my responsibilities out the way, and then I would just give myself the offering of a nice joint. And I even think too, because like I didn't require a lot to feel good, you know, where like some people, obviously the more you smoke, the more you need. I would smoke once a day at the very least, but I'd like roll a joint. Let's say if I rolled a joint today, I'd roll it up and then I'd smoke maybe 2 or 3, maybe 5 pulls max, and then I'd clip it. And I'll have that for like 4 or 5 days. Like I kid you not, there were moments where towards the end especially too, where I'd have apes for like weeks, months, like literally months. And so I think that because my habit was so down to like a routine, it was like, oh no, I'm not addicted, I'm fine, I don't need to stop this. But it wasn't until about 2 years ago when I had a very specific spiritual awakening that I realized that, wow, I really don't need this anymore. And then 2021 came around and I embraced more of my sobriety. I embraced more of just like smoking very here and very there, like long months of just not smoking at all, like long months of just being in my body and my spirit. And like even that felt so good, because I just remember so many times literally, y'all, like crying to God and just saying help me, because the reason why I felt so charged up to even asked to be cleansed of that addiction was because I knew I deserved better, and I knew that he wanted better of me. I knew that my guides had a very specific plan for me, and it didn't include weed. It didn't include the people that I was associating with when I was smoking weed. It didn't include habits that I had formed, and it damn sure didn't include being banned from an amusement park for 1 year for carrying marijuana. Like that sounds absolutely crazy. And yes, I give you permission to laugh, okay? Because, well, legit remember like crying and pleading. And it was something that it took a while, y'all. Like, I know this idea of ignoring discipline causes poverty seems like, okay, well, I'm going to stop today and now I'm going to reach my financial goals. It does take time. It took seriously a year and change for me to like fully say, okay, God, I see where you want me today as this 24-year-old goddess, and I'm gonna stop, and I'm never looking back. Like it took a long time. Much like achieving your financial goals, achieving the dream house that you've always wanted, getting that Tesla that you deserve, it took a lot of time. It started off just with a couple of months here, a couple of weeks here, a couple of days here. Then it was just when I see friends. Then it was just when I see specific friends. Then it was just when I go out. And then it quickly just went into, okay, I'm going to go 2 full weeks of just being sober. No alcohol, no weed, no nothing. And kind of how I hit this breakthrough is I was at a full moon ceremony. It was actually for the full moon in Taurus that we had this past November. And it was 420 friendly. And a friend of mine, shout out to Ty, if you ever end up watching this, I love you. They offered me some weed. And I was already on my 2-week break from it. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? It feels safe and it feels right to do so. And I'm here amongst a whole bunch of other beautiful people. So yeah. And when I did it, I felt okay. And then that's when the anxiety and the paranoia started to creep up a little bit. And as you know, if you are an active user of marijuana, you know that that can be a side effect. And it actually was one that never really affected me in the past. And so when I kind of was having all of these thoughts and feeling a little bit different in my body and in the space, I kind of felt like, wow, I shouldn't have done this. And that I don't think that I needed to. I remember even saying that to my friend. And then that's when I was like, oh, well, maybe I can still use the plant since it is sacred. Maybe I can get high by like edibles or like infused honey or something, you know, infused tea. At some point I came home and I felt like, yeah, I think that I need to let go of this. I think it's time. And then I went to bed. I had a dream that also reminded me of an experience that I witnessed in the past with someone who didn't know their limit when it came to substances. And that's when it clicked. It was like, OMG, it's time. And I remember getting really, really, really emotional. I got super emotional because I felt it, you know, I felt it so deep in my spirit that my journey with this sacred plant has come to an end. And I remember even starting right away and saying, okay, I'm not going to do it, and saying, you know, I think I want to contact my ancestors and see what they have to say. And I remember doing so, and the messages that I ended up receiving, they were like, yeah, sis, it's time. And that made me so joyous because it's like I felt it in my spirit. They confirmed it, and it just was time. Oh, I realized I didn't speak about alcohol at all. My relationship with alcohol is a little bit different. I never was a huge alcohol consumer. I did towards the last few years up until this point develop a keen liking for wine. I would sometimes just go and buy a bottle of wine and have it here and there. And I even remember actually quite vividly this past winter getting tired of it. Like I bought 3 bottles within maybe like 2 months or something like that. And I didn't finish them by myself. I would always share with my mom and stuff. But I remember just like, you know, kind of buying them on a rotation or whatever. And with that last bottle, it kind of went to waste, and I felt like, yeah, I don't think I like this anymore. I don't think I need to do this. You know, I don't think like, oh, just having a cup of wine with a nice meal here or there is something that I need to do. And I remember taking a break from it. Alcohol was never really an issue for me. I do remember over the past couple of months though, when I wasn't smoking, kind of like having a taste for it and like going out and like feeling like, oh, I don't need to be high, but if I'm out with my family and we're having dinner, I can order a drink, and that's cute. You know, I'm of age, I'm mature. And that being a really, really nice experience for myself, just because I remember when I was deep in my battle with weed, barely ever even being able to imagine myself being one day like okay being out and not being high. So like that was a really good first step for myself. But even that, the idea of being out with family and not being able to drink didn't bother me. You know, when I got that call and it was crystal clear to walk away completely, I got the call and I picked up and I said, yes, I am here and I will fulfill the task. So yeah, that is pretty much my story. And I also just want to kind of button up my story with the truth of the matter. So the truth of the matter is that I did have a little bit of anxious thoughts in the beginning. Yes, I am 110% being honest when I say that I felt joyous, and when I got emotional, I did. But even prior to embracing it, because there was a 2-week window, that full moon ceremony was like the second to last week in November, I think, and then we had that 2-week window with Thanksgiving. At the moment, I actually am 1 month sober. Wow, I really can't even believe it. I'm like, because I remember I was out with my family last weekend for my cousin's birthday, and I like just shared with my mom. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be 4 weeks on Monday, and that was, I think, or tomorrow, and that was last Sunday, and here I am today. I'm 1 month in, so this is actually so special for me. Oh my gosh, what the heck was I saying before I realized that? Yeah, there was like a 2-week window, and so prior to me fully embracing and fully saying yes, I will embrace sobriety, there were anxious thoughts. I remember like hopping on a call with one of my girlfriends and bringing it up of like, yo, I've been feeling this urge to kind of walk away, and I'm a little bit insecure, more so about alcohol, because it's like, what if I want to have a social event or a gathering with a group of friends and loved ones, and you know, I want alcohol to be there? What about my wedding, when it's time for me to have my champagne toast? Like, what about my 25th birthday? Like, you know, like just all these things that I'm like thinking in my head of like, socially, how am I gonna fit in as a sober person? So I do just want to layer that in and let y'all know that of course I did go through my very own share of 21 questions and freaking out and wondering how things are gonna work, but I did get to the other side, and I was actually shown so many more people that are walking firmly in sobriety, that do look like me, that are interested in the same things that I am interested in, and that are also young. And so I felt like that was my guides purposely and specifically putting that in my rear view to remind me that it is possible. That pretty much concludes my journey with substances. I am officially, like I said before, 1 month sober at the time of this recording, and honestly I feel so freaking renewed. Like, I can't even breathe with saying that right now. Like, I feel so full of life. I feel so more at ease. I feel so more at peace. I mean, when I tell y'all I started to really feel uncomfortable dabbling in substances within the last few months, I really mean that. And so I do feel a sense of just ease, knowing that, you know what, my friends, my family, they're gonna congratulate me, they're gonna uplift me, and they are going to praise what I am doing. Anyone who ridicules me or mocks me or doesn't want to hang out with me because I don't do those things anymore, they simply were here only for the fun times, and I don't really need them around anyways. So it just feels, I'm honestly speechless, because I'm just realizing once again, like I said earlier, that it's 1 month in. And I was really struggling when I sat down to film this video. I really, really was. I was nervous, but it's a testimony. It's a testimony that will be loud and proud and vibrating up in my heart space for forever. It is a story that I will be able to share and pass down with my children. And it is a milestone. I've had a couple of people who I've shared this with ask, oh, do you think it'll only be for a little bit of time? Because, you know, you can just do it for a little bit of time, and then maybe, you never know, maybe one day you'll end up feeling it like it's okay and safe to have like a sip of alcohol. And I was like, honestly, I already asked my ancestors, and it's a no. And I knew it was a no before I asked. I just wanted to see like where they were, and I felt it. I was like, yeah, it's a no. So like, this is a lifelong journey for me. This is a lifelong accomplishment, honestly, because I have a Pisces South Node, and if y'all know anything about astrology and your South Nodes, y'all know that Piscean energy, generally speaking, is aligned to the hippy dippy lifestyle, is aligned to the drug lifestyle, is aligned to alcohol, substance abuse. I'm not saying just because you're a Pisces or even you have a Pisces moon that you know, are up late at night doing X, Y, and Z. I'm just saying that generally speaking, if you look at the energy, that is a thing. And I really do feel like I've had such a hard time at certain points in my life with it, because of course I was young and I didn't know any better. Yes, I will layer that in, not to sound hard on myself, but I think that I had such an issue with that at certain moments in my life because of that strong influence of that Pisces South Node. Like, I truthfully believe in a past life I probably had access to all the drugs in the world and probably was doing the damn thing. Because let's be real, anything can be a drug, right? Even if it wasn't, actual marijuana or whatever the case is, I believe firmly in my spirit that in a past life I struggled with escapism, and that's just what it is. I want to hang this video up with these last couple of thoughts, okay? I, Danajhadavis, have embraced sobriety because I need to be here, because I need to be present, because I have things to do, because I value a clear and an open and a conscious mind. I value a clear and open and a conscious spirit. I'm able to receive better. We came here to live life. We didn't come here to escape life. I'm going to say that one more time. We came here to live life, not escape life. Thank you guys so much for sticking it through this little story time. I so appreciate you wherever you may be on your journey. Please make sure that wherever you may be when it comes to substances, that you are taking it one step at a time, that you are being kind to yourself, that you are doing it in a way that makes you feel empowered, that you don't feel guilty, that you don't feel pressured. And if you too, like I was, are feeling pulled to walk away from it, even if it's for a couple of months, baby steps, my friend. Baby steps. Okay, thank you guys so much once again. I look forward to seeing you guys in a video soon. Bye.